In a Holmes County, Ohio farmhouse built in 1972, an 85-year-old man named Samuel smiles. He possesses a complete set of original, fully functional teeth. He has never held a corporate dental insurance card. He has never sat in a clinical chair. While the average American family spends over $2,000 a year on synthetic chemical rinses, automated toothbrushes, and synthetic cavity fillings, Samuel relies on a raw mineral compound that costs exactly $1.84 to produce. He beats the medical monopoly using exact change and basic chemistry. Today we expose the exact three-ingredient Amish oral care formula. Hit subscribe. The cellular remineralization trick at number 7 changes the entire architecture of your mouth. Let us get into it. Number 10. The myth of the modern dental monopoly. The modern oral care industry operates on a foundation of manufactured dependency. Major consumer corporations spend billions of dollars on slick marketing campaigns to convince you that your mouth is a fragile, helpless environment that decays by default without synthetic additives, artificial surfactants, and chemical stabilizers. They line the grocery store shelves with dozens of identical tubes packed with sodium lauryl sulfate, artificial dyes, and industrial texturizers. They charge premium prices for a product that frequently undermines the biological environment of your mouth. The average American consumer spends roughly $45 a year on brand-name toothpaste, $30 on alcohol-based mouthwashes, and an additional $1,500 on annual dental insurance premiums and co-pays for standard cavity maintenance. This creates a massive financial drain. It forces the consumer into a continuous loop of clinical appointments, routine drillings, and chemical treatments. The Amish look at this corporate infrastructure with complete indifference. They understand that human teeth are dynamic, living crystalline structures engineered to defend and rebuild themselves through natural biochemical processes. For over 200 years, Amish homesteaders have relied on local, raw agricultural materials to maintain their oral health. They utilize a simple compound that aligns in exact measure with the biological needs of human enamel. While modern consumers sit in waiting rooms, off-grid communities manage their hygiene as a basic daily routine using materials harvested straight from the earth. This $1.84 paste does not rely on a complex global supply chain or synthetic laboratory formulations. It leverages the raw laws of biochemistry to neutralize harmful pathogens while leaving the defensive structures of your mouth intact. You do not need a plastic tube wrapped in marketing promises to protect your family. You do not need a corporate dental card to maintain rock-solid teeth. By taking control of your own hygiene infrastructure, you bypass the artificial markups that keep the modern consumer financially dependent. But before you can step away from the clinic, you must understand the exact biological trigger they hide in your food. The industrial acid fallacy at number 9 dissolves the enamel from the inside out. Number 9. The industrial acid fallacy. To understand why the Amish toothpaste succeeds for 2 centuries without corporate interventions, you must first understand the root cause of dental decay. Mainstream marketing tells you that sugar is the direct enemy that eats holes in your teeth. This is a massive oversimplification designed to mask the real biochemical process. Sugar itself does not harm enamel. Instead, sugar acts as the ultimate high-powered fuel source for specific strains of anaerobic bacteria living inside your oral microbiome, primarily the organism known as Streptococcus mutans. When you consume processed sugars or simple carbohydrates, these microscopic pathogens feast on the residues left between your teeth. As they metabolize the sugars, they excrete a biological waste product called lactic acid. This localized acid secretion drops the pH level of your mouth well below the critical threshold of 5.5. The moment the oral environment enters a severe acid state, a physical process called demineralization begins. The hydrogen ions in the acid disrupt the hydroxyapatite crystals that form 96% of your tooth enamel. The acid strips away vital calcium and phosphate molecules. This leaves the underlying structure porous, weak, and vulnerable to physical collapse. Commercial toothpastes attempt to resolve this acidic environment by introducing synthetic detergents like sodium lauryl sulfate. This is the exact industrial foaming agent used in car washes and engine degreasers These chemicals strip away the protective mucosal lining of your gums, alter your natural salivary flow, and dismantle the beneficial probiotic strains that form your primary biological defense system. The Amish approach uses a different mechanism. They do not launch a chemical sweep on their oral tissue. They use an alkaline mineral compound to alter the environment of the mouth, rendering it impossible for acid-loving pathogens to survive. Blaming sugar is a corporate distraction. To stop the decay, you need the exact environmental shutdown at number 8. A single raw mineral that costs pennies paralyzes oral pathogens in 30 seconds. If you are tired of absorbing synthetic chemicals through your drinking water, hit the like button right now. We must spread this warning. Number 8. Crystalline sodium. Bicarbonate, the pH shield. The foundational ingredient of the traditional Amish paste is pure, unadulterated sodium bicarbonate. You know this across America as basic baking soda. The Amish buy this mineral compound in massive, industrial-sized boxes from local dry goods cooperatives or agriculture supply centers. They pay exactly $1.24 for a 1-pound box. They do not pay for fancy plastic packaging or corporate branding. They buy the raw, fine-grained mineral for pennies per ounce. Sodium bicarbonate is a natural chemical buffer with an intense alkaline profile. It registers a solid 9 on the pH scale. The moment this mineral contacts human saliva, it dissolves into sodium ions and bicarbonate ions. These bicarbonate ions act as a high-speed chemical sponge. They float through the oral cavity and bind with the free hydrogen ions excreted by destructive bacteria. Within 30 seconds of brushing, the dissolved mineral neutralizes the localized lactic acid. It forces the overall pH level of the mouth up to a safe, alkaline state of 8.0 or higher. This dramatic environmental shift shuts down pathogenic bacteria. Organisms like Streptococcus mutans are acidophilic. They require a low pH, acid environment to grow, replicate, and synthesize the sticky plaque matrix that glues them to your teeth. In an alkaline environment, their metabolic pathways collapse. Their cellular walls leak. They wash away via your natural salivary flow. Furthermore, the Amish utilize sodium bicarbonate because of its unique physical geometry. Under a microscope, baking soda crystals exist as soft, rounded structures. When brushed across enamel, these crystals provide a low abrasion scrub. They break loose surface stains, soft plaque accumulations, and food debris without scratching the delicate hydroxyapatite shell of the tooth. Corporate oral brands spend millions formulating synthetic whitening chemicals that bleach teeth by altering their chemical structure. The Amish achieve pristine, bright teeth using basic physical mechanics and a mineral that costs less than a piece of fruit. Neutralizing the acid is only the first step. You still have microscopic holes in your enamel. The mineral siphon at number 7 exposes the profitable clinical lie behind why your teeth are forbidden from healing themselves. Number 7. The mineral. Siphon, remineralization, kinetics. Mainstream dental clinics operate on the profitable assumption that once a microscopic cavity forms in your enamel, it requires immediate physical excavation with a steel drill and the installation of a synthetic composite plug. The Amish understand that teeth are capable of self-healing if you provide the exact biological conditions required for cellular reconstruction. This natural healing process is called remineralization. Human saliva is packed with dissolved calcium and phosphate ions. Under non-acidic conditions, your saliva bathes your teeth in these minerals. It deposits them back into the microscopic pores of the enamel matrix to repair daily wear and tear. However, when you use commercial toothpastes packed with synthetic humectants like heavy glycerin, you disrupt this elegant biological siphon. Glycerin is a thick, sticky sugar alcohol used to keep toothpaste moist inside the tube. When you brush with it, it leaves an invisible, water-insoluble film over the surface of your teeth. This film requires dozens of rinses to remove. This slick chemical barrier blankets the enamel. It prevents your natural saliva from making direct contact with the hydroxyapatite crystals. Your teeth are starved of the exact calcium and phosphate ions they need to rebuild their defensive shell. The traditional Amish formulation avoids glycerin. It ensures the enamel remains exposed to the natural flow of saliva. By utilizing a clean base of pure, raw coconut oil or distilled well water combined with mineral-rich bentonite clay, The paste acts as a mineral delivery vehicle. Bentonite clay contains a dense concentration of bioavailable calcium, magnesium, and silica. When massaged onto the teeth in an alkaline environment, these minerals are drawn into the porous, demineralized sections of the enamel through basic osmotic pressure. They lock into the crystalline grid and harden the tooth structure from the inside out. The drill becomes obsolete when you allow the natural mineral siphon of the body to operate without a chemical barrier blocking the path. Once you clear the chemical barriers blocking your saliva, you must deploy a biological matrix. The antiseptic lipid shield at number 6 uses medium-chain physics to pull years of embedded plaque off your gums. Number 6. The antiseptic oil core, medium-chain fatty acids. The secondary liquid matrix of the 200-year-old Amish oral care tradition is raw, cold-pressed coconut oil. While some ultra-traditional communities utilize clean distilled water or melted animal fats as their paste base during winter months, the use of coconut oil became a permanent staple due to its thermodynamic stability and biological properties. The Amish do not purchase processed, deodorized cooking oils. They use the unrefined raw fat that retains its rich profile of medium-chain triglycerides. A 14-ounce jar of raw coconut oil costs exactly $5.98. This breaks down to 42 cents per ounce. Coconut oil is composed of approximately 50% lauric acid. Lauric acid is a unique monounsaturated fatty acid that possesses a proven ability to dismantle harmful microorganisms. When you brush with raw coconut oil, the lauric acid interacts with the lipid membranes that form the protective outer shell of dangerous oral bacteria and fungi. Because the chemical structures match, the lauric acid dissolves into the bacterial membrane. This causes the cell wall of the pathogen to rupture and spill its internal contents, neutralizing the threat. Furthermore, the physical presence of the oil molecule creates a mechanism known as lipid pulling. Plaque is not water-soluble. It is a complex, sticky biofilm composed of millions of bacteria bound together by hydrophobic proteins and fats. Water-based commercial mouthwashes slide right over this biofilm without breaking it loose. The fats inside coconut oil act like an industrial magnet for plaque. They bind with the lipid structures of the biofilm and lift the entire bacterial colony off the surface of the enamel and gums. When you spit the paste out, you eject millions of embedded pathogens that a standard toothbrush and water could never touch. This lipid barrier leaves a microscopic, ultra-thin coating of clean fat over the teeth. This natural barrier repels new plaque accumulations for hours, preventing food particles from gluing themselves to your smile during daily farm labor. You do not need a pharmaceutical plant to execute this defense. The exact manual blueprint at number 5 breaks down the 3-ingredient jar recipe you assemble on your kitchen counter for under $2. Number 5. The 3-ingredient recipe. Breakdown. The true genius of the traditional Amish toothpaste lies in its radical simplicity. You do not need a chemical laboratory, automated machinery, or measuring equipment to prepare this historical formulation. The entire batch is mixed inside a basic glass mason jar in your kitchen in less than 5 minutes. It uses 3 raw components that sit on the bottom shelves of local stores. The total cost is exactly $1.84 per batch. To prepare the standard historical formulation, you collect the following exact measurements. First, you need 4 tablespoons of pure sodium bicarbonate. This serves as your primary environmental pH buffer and mild mechanical stain remover. Second, you need 2 tablespoons of raw, cold-pressed coconut oil. This forms your antimicrobial liquid lipid matrix and plaque-lifting mechanism. Third, you need 1 teaspoon of fine-grained bentonite clay or unrefined sea salt. This acts as your high-capacity mineral delivery vehicle to drive calcium and silica back into the enamel pores. You add the dry sodium bicarbonate and bentonite clay into a clean, bone-dry glass jar. You must never use a metal spoon or a metal container when handling bentonite clay. Clay possesses an electrical charge that binds with metal ions. This neutralizes its mineral delivery capacity before it touches your mouth. You use a wooden stick or a bone spoon to blend the dry powders together until they form a uniform, gray-white mineral mixture. Once the dry base is combined, you pour the raw coconut oil over the minerals. If the room temperature is below 76 degrees, the coconut oil exists in a solid white state. You warm the oil container in a bowl of hot water until it converts into a clear, free-flowing liquid before mixing. You stir the liquid fat into the minerals, pressing out any dry pockets until the compound achieves a thick, smooth, satin-like paste consistency. The resulting paste is self-preserving. Because it contains zero water molecules and possesses an alkaline profile, mold, bacteria, or yeast cannot colonize the jar. This provides an indefinite shelf life on your bathroom shelf without a single drop of synthetic preservatives. Leave a comment below right now and tell us your monthly dental hygiene budget. We track the numbers from our viewers. Knowing the ingredients means nothing if you use a modern corporate brushing technique. The mechanical cleansing protocol at number 4 forces you to unlearn everything television commercials taught you. Number 4, the mechanical cleansing protocol. Brushing your teeth with a traditional mineral paste requires a mental shift in how you view oral hygiene. Modern consumers are conditioned by television commercials to expect a mouthful of thick, synthetic blue foam that burns your tongue with artificial menthol chemicals. They associate this chemical burning sensation and soapy lather with clean teeth. This is a psychological illusion manufactured by marketing teams. Foam does not clean teeth. Physical abrasion and environmental neutralization clean teeth. When you dip your dry bamboo or hog bristle toothbrush into the Amish mineral paste, you only need a pea-sized amount on the tips of the bristles. The moment you place the brush in your mouth, the paste does not foam. Instead, it mixes with your natural saliva. It converts into a slick, mineral-rich, salty fluid that coats your entire oral cavity. You do not scrub your teeth violently back and forth with heavy physical pressure. Doing this with raw minerals places unnecessary stress on your gum margins. You utilize soft, circular, geometric motions. You guide the bristle tips gently along the junction where your teeth meet your gum tissue. This is where the anaerobic bacteria hide. They bury themselves deep inside the tiny sulcus pockets to escape the oxygen of the atmosphere. As the alkaline fluid floods these hidden pockets, it neutralizes the acidic environment. This shocks the pathogens and forces them to release their grip on the soft tissue. You spend exactly 2 minutes moving the mineral fluid across every surface of your smile. You allow the bentonite clay and sodium bicarbonate to lift away deep surface stains and feed the underlying hydroxyapatite grid. When you finish brushing, you spit the gray fluid into the sink. But here is the ultimate secret phase of the Amish protocol. You do not rinse your mouth out with water. Most modern consumers rinse their mouths vigorously with tap water the second they finish brushing. They wash away the active ingredients before they perform any long-term structural work. The Amish spit out the excess fluid and leave the residual mineral film on their teeth. This allows the bioavailable calcium and alkaline ions to remain in direct contact with the enamel for hours. It provides a continuous defensive shield that neutralizes ambient acids and drives remineralization long after you put the brush away. The mechanical technique preserves the enamel, but the massive corporate lie at number 3 explains why the Amish refuse municipal tap water. Number 3. The commercial fluoride secret. The global dental establishment built its entire multi-billion-dollar empire on a single chemical compound, sodium fluoride. They print warning labels on the back of every commercial tube, instructing you to call a poison control center if a child swallows more than a pea-sized amount of the paste. They dump this industrial byproduct into municipal drinking water systems. They claim it is a mandatory health requirement to protect the population from dental decay. The Amish reject this systemic chemical addition. Their health profile proves that fluoride is unnecessary when proper environmental alkalinity is maintained. Fluoride works by artificially replacing the hydroxyl ions in your tooth enamel to form a synthetic compound called fluorapatite. While fluorapatite is technically more resistant to acid attacks than natural hydroxyapatite, it possesses a massive, hidden structural flaw. Fluorapatite is a brittle crystalline structure. Over decades of exposure, teeth treated continuously with high doses of fluoride lose their natural elastic compliance. This leads to microscopic structural fractures, chipping, and a severe long-term risk of complete vertical tooth failure under heavy chewing loads. Furthermore, fluoride is a systemic enzymatic inhibitor. When swallowed in microdoses over a lifetime, it accumulates deep inside human bone tissue and the endocrine system. It calcifies the pineal gland and disrupts thyroid hormone synthesis. The Amish understand that you do not need to introduce an industrial chemical into your body just to harden a tooth. By maintaining a clean, high-mineral diet packed with raw dairy, field-grown vegetables, and pasture-raised meats, they provide their bodies with an abundant supply of natural, organic calcium and phosphorus. When this clean internal nutrition is paired with an alkaline topical mineral paste, the teeth retain their natural hydroxyapatite structure. This structure is acid-resistant and structurally flexible. It eliminates the need for corporate chemical applications. Bypassing fluoride saves the crystalline structure of the tooth, but the biological architecture at number 2 protects the surrounding ecosystem. Number 2, the salivary ecosystem architecture. Your mouth is not a sterile environment. It should never be treated like one. The modern dental industry pushes antiseptic alcohol mouthwashes that boast of eliminating 99% of all oral germs on contact. This aggressive approach is an ecological disaster for your oral cavity. Your mouth requires a thriving, balanced ecosystem of over 700 distinct bacterial strains to function correctly. These microbes assist in the initial digestion of starches. They synthesize vital nitric oxide molecules that regulate your systemic blood pressure. They form a continuous biological firewall that blocks external pathogens from entering your respiratory tract. When you flood your mouth with alcohol rinses and synthetic chemical toothpastes, you clear the field entirely. The first organisms to recolonize the empty tissue are the fast-growing, acid-producing pathogenic strains like Streptococcus mutans and Porphyromonas gingivalis. These are the primary catalysts behind chronic periodontal gum disease. You create a state of chronic dysbiosis. You trap yourself in a permanent cycle of bad breath, bleeding gums, and recurring cavities. The traditional Amish mineral paste acts as an ecological architect rather than a non-selective wiper. It alters the physics of the environment by adjusting the pH and lipid balance. Beneficial, health-promoting strains of oral bacteria thrive in a clean, neutral to alkaline environment with abundant salivary flow. Pathogenic, destructive strains thrive in a stagnant, dry, acidic environment, cloaked in synthetic chemical residues. By utilizing raw coconut oil and sodium bicarbonate, the Amish prune the oral microbiome. They strip away the sticky plaque housing that shelters the bad strains while leaving the underlying protective bacterial colonies intact. The mouth returns to its natural, self-cleaning equilibrium. This eliminates chronic bad breath at the biological source rather than masking it with synthetic wintergreen perfumes. Balancing the ecosystem preserves the breath, but the absolute number one secret of the Amish protocol anchors the tooth into the human skull for a century. Number 1. The periodontal soft tissue shield. Dental health is not merely about protecting the hard white enamel of your teeth. It is heavily dependent on the absolute structural integrity of the soft, periodontal tissue that anchors those teeth into your jawbone. The modern consumer population suffers from an epidemic of chronic gingivitis and receding gum margins. This painful condition exposes the highly sensitive cementum roots of the teeth. It leads to widespread loose teeth and structural decay below the visible bone line. The corporate solution is a complex array of deep scaling cleanings, soft tissue gum grafts, and synthetic antibiotic gels. These procedures cost thousands of dollars per quadrant. The Amish maintain tight pink ironclad gum margins well into their twilight years. They exploit the natural tissue toning properties of their $1.84 mineral paste. When raw coconut oil and fine sea salt are massaged along the gum line, they trigger a localized biochemical process called mild osmotic tissue toning. The mineral salts draw excess, stagnant intercellular fluid out of swollen, inflamed gum tissue. This reduces edema and increases the localized circulation of fresh, oxygenated blood directly through the capillary network of the mouth. This increased blood flow delivers vital immune cells and vitamin C directly to the periodontal ligaments. It drives the rapid synthesis of clean collagen fibers to tighten the soft tissue around the neck of every tooth. The lauric acid inside the coconut oil neutralizes the anaerobic bacteria that hide beneath the gum margins. It prevents them from excreting the collagenase enzymes that dissolve human tissue and cause gums to recede. The Amish do not wait for gum disease to manifest before seeking a clinical intervention. They treat their soft tissue every single morning with a mineral matrix that acts as a natural astringent and biological shield. This keeps their teeth locked solid inside their jawbone for a lifetime of heavy agricultural labor. The modern world traded self-sustaining wisdom for corporate convenience and institutional dependency. We rely on massive pharmaceutical conglomerates to manufacture our hygiene. We rely on corporate grocery store supply chains to provide our solutions. We rely on expensive insurance structures to manage our basic physical survival. This dependency creates a fragile population that is completely vulnerable to any supply chain disruption, inflationary price shock, or economic collapse. The 200-year-old Amish toothpaste is not merely a cheap alternative to a commercial product. It is a profound declaration of total personal autonomy. It proves that a family can opt out of a multi-billion-dollar medical monopoly by understanding the fundamental laws of chemistry, biology, and the natural resources provided by the earth. You do not need a plastic tube wrapped in marketing lies to protect your smiles. You do not need a corporate dental card to maintain rock-solid teeth. You transform your bathroom from a zone of corporate consumption into a self-sustaining laboratory of analog health. Learn the rules of the environment. Protect your oral microbiome from synthetic chemical disruption. Neutralize the acid, unlock the natural mineral siphon of your saliva, and secure a lifetime of physical independence using the simple, unmetered wisdom of the homestead. Click the next video on your screen right now to see the next big secret of off-grid survival. We will see you there. Thanks for watching.